Are we live? Hello. We're good? Check. I think so. We'll see. I wonder. Hello. Does this sound better? I wonder if this sounds better or this sounds better. This sounds better or this sounds better. Probably sounds awful no matter what. Rude. And this is why this shit is supposed to seem easy. Oh, do a podcast, they said. It's so easy, they said. This shit ain't. It ain't. It never fucking works the way it's supposed to. That is so big and obnoxious. This shit never works the way it's supposed to. It's always tripping. Like, it should be as simple as plugging in the battery light. That was scary. Plugging in the battery light and keeping it charged. And why is it constantly going out? I don't get it. That is terrifying. I'm anemic, so please don't let the circles under my eyes scare you. I just got out of the shower, so we're barefaced, we're clean, and I hope everyone had a happy Thanksgiving. This is weird. I don't usually get to see myself while I'm filming, so I'm trying not to make it a habit to stare at myself. I need to look at the camera like I usually do. Y'all are gonna kill me. Like, for real. I know that nobody's gonna get on this live. I just wanted to give this a shot because I spend so much time editing that, again, do a podcast, they said. It's so easy, they said. The easiest part is sitting down and running your mouth and blabbing. Like, you can sit there and talk for an hour, but then that's an hour that you have to re-listen to yourself immediately after and edit. And so I'm going to try to get in the habit of making it as live as possible. It's not like I do a lot of edits, but I always go back and listen because we talk about tea, and especially with guests, if certain things need to be bleeped out or cut out for privacy reasons, then I have to go back through and do that. And that's a lot of time. So especially with these solo ones, I can just zip right through and pray to God that I don't say anything that will put me on a stake. But if I do, then please just give me a chance, okay? We all should get one, right? So yeah, that's just another element too. It's never as easy as it seems, and I don't have an editor. I don't have time to get an editor. I really hope this sounds okay because, again, I can hear myself, but I don't know what the quality sounds like. And that's one of those things where by the end of it, you just kind of have to wing it because I don't have an editor or a sound person or someone that sits there and is monitoring everything as I'm doing it. So I just have to fucking cross my fingers and pray that by the end it works. And my phone's kind of charged. So I'm going to see if this charger will do any differently. It didn't. Maybe it's just broken. Well, I need a light really bad because this isn't going to cut it. This is terrible quality without a light. Ay, caramba. And this is why, I need to be able to edit because y'all, people that don't know me are going to be like, the fuck? This bitch got the worst setup. She sounds like shit. Next. But those loyal listeners, and I do have them, we're going to go over our Spotify Wrapped in a second. I thank you. And y'all are probably laughing, and hopefully we'll just fast forward until I get my shit together. I got to think fast for a light. Oh, fuck. Can I pause the stream? About dashboard. No, I guess I can't pause it. Oh, that's terrifying. What if I just do a full power source? Will she stay on then? Is a true power source? No. Okay. Boom, baby. Better than before. Way better. Way better than before. Now this I can work with, and this I should have done from the jump. Again, we're at home sitting in front of my bar. It is now decorated for the holidays. Let's see. Can she focus? No, she does not focus. She's beautiful, and I made the garland. I did blood oranges and regular oranges and dehydrated them for several hours. Still probably should have done even more than that because I didn't do all the garland that I had prepared. And then I put the rest in a Ziploc bag, got this strand up for Friendsgiving that I hosted on the 22nd, and then pulled out the bag the other day, and they were fucking molded. So I was like, damn, I guess I should have dehydrated them more. Anyways, no sponsor, hidden brand. Cheers to getting the light figured out and alive, that I don't have to edit. And hopefully I'll be able to just save this and upload it to Spotify. And to the listeners that aren't getting to watch the hullabaloo, oh my gosh, I apologize for the delay. So cheers to that. We do have one late night owl that's watching right now. But I did want to start off with, like I mentioned, my Spotify Wrapped for dry storage. I am so excited year after year for the Spotify Wrapped to come on for my personal. So it was so cool when I got the notification that I had one for dry storage. And it looks like this. It's not even going to focus on the phone screen. Boom. So to scroll through, the pilot was obviously the banger because I'm sure so many people from Auburn and that I went to school with were like, what in God's name is she doing? And probably just out of curiosity. And then just the loyal ones stick around, and then new ones that are actually interested join us. But the dry storage videos on Spotify was in the top 20% video on Spotify. So our show was in the top 20% of videos on Spotify. That probably sounded really choppy, but I thought that was a pretty good stat, if I do say so myself, for being 13 episodes in from a 0 following raw organic start. It's honestly really not bad. I've worked in social media probably since like 2019. I've been in social media, so it's not so bad. Zach popped off. He had the most love on comments, of course. And we have reached 3 countries, y'all. So thank you for our worldwide listeners. I think that is so cool. I'm sure you think that my accent is atrocious. I would love to know what you think about it and what you think about my commentary and my guests on here, and what you see difference-wise and similarity-wise between how it is behind the scenes. So our top 3 countries was obviously US was number 1, Canada was number 2, and Australia was number 3. I don't know why I feel like I have to show the phone like y'all aren't going to believe me, but I'm just going to stop doing that. I was a top 10 show for 42 fans. And like, haters going to hate. That might not seem like a lot, and it's probably not a lot, but if I were to meet up with 42 different people every week and give them, and just like have them expect me to talk to them for an hour, like I would be nervous as fuck. And I do get nervous recording, and y'all know that. So it does, like, it is, meaning something. But hi, Chad. Oh, I was wondering who my little night owl is. Hang out with me, bro. I was like, but 42 people to speak in front of and act a fool in front of and be unfiltered in front of that you have no idea who they are is intimidating. Chad, can you hear everything okay? Does it sound awful? Let me know. So thank you guys for my 42 listeners that put me in your top 10. That's pretty dope to me. And in top 5, I was 34, or I have, dyslexic. 34 fans had me as a top 5 show, and that's pretty dope because my top 5 shows are like Nick Vile, probably a podcast, Shannon Ford for the girlies, Call Her Daddy, Rotten Mango, We're All Insane. Like, those were literally my top podcasts, so that's huge to me. So thank you guys, and I hope that I just keep getting better and getting more comfortable. You know what I'm saying? We just gonna keep reaching for greatness. We built for greatness type shit. And I was the number 1 show for 20 people, which that's fucking sick. So shout out to all 20 of y'all. I love you guys. My top fans, those 20 people, streamed 1.3 times more than everyone else. So y'all are loyal as fuck, says Spotify, and I agree. Thank you. My, what are we going to call the clan? What's up, Dry Storage fam? Drop those likes, drop those comments, and subscribe. 25% hit play within 24 hours of a new episode drop. A quarter, I'm sold. Again, within the time that I've started. Like, that's incredible. I'd be lucky if I had 2 listeners, period, ever. So it goes without saying, my fans are awesome. the fans of the industry. It's not me whatsoever. The fans of the concept, the fans of the community, the fans of the grind. Fucking dope. Y'all's top artist: number 1, Taylor Swift; number 2, Morgan Wallen; number 3, Drake; number 4, Future; and number 5, Grateful Dead. And that is beautiful to me. That's really just top tier, curated wonders of the music world, and I commemorate the taste in all of y'all, and fuck yeah to that. That's fucking dope. The top audiobooks from the listeners: Great Big Beautiful Life, Reese's Book Club, Better Than the Movies, and Into the Void from Birth to Black Sabbath. Top shows: Not That Serious, The Toast, Bonafide with Luke Bona, The Vile Files, and Pints with Aquinas, which I've never heard of, so I hope I said that right, but I want to check that one out. Let's keep on going. And then the one that I shared on our story was, we were a 2025 marathon show. Fans listened to you longer than 77% of other shows. So that retaining rate is pretty cool, that retention rate. A 2025 instant hit show. Your debut season was more popular than 82% of other news shows. Again, that credit is definitely really good to me. I'm proud of it, and it makes me blush. So, and a 2025 talked about show. This stat was probably my favorite. You received more comments than 94% of other shows. So, I feel a little self-conscious sometimes. I mean, I love it, but also we're a very small niche group. So, it's a niche under people that understand and support. And so, sometimes odds are I'm going to be looked at like outspoken, opinionated, bold. And yeah, I'm proud of those stats. I don't know. It gives me a little something to show for, I guess. So I fuck with it for sure. And I thank you all. And I'm excited for 2026 and to compare the 2026 Wrapped to what we're looking at right now. So that's pretty cool. Next, I wanted to move into holiday party dynamics. So now that I'm not like full-time in-house at the pub, since having Sloan, I do our events, our private event bookings and stuff. And it's holiday season, so it's been amping up. We've already had like 2 take place. One was pretty early on, like back in November, and one was just the other night. And I just kind of wanted to talk about like holiday party dynamics for a second, because I love them. They're a great way for everyone to make money really easily. The business makes money. It's a great sales point, and bartenders, have a fairly good shift when they work a private party. It's a lot more TLC to, obviously the singular group and not all over the place. And you're able to really just focus on hone in on that. And I really enjoy it. It's one of my favorite things to do. I was really excited when I got to take that over when I was full-time, and I'm excited I got to continue it. It's like the perfect fit because I can just do it all from home. And then I do get to go in and work the parties if I'm available. And that was one of the other things is in my prior podcast, I did mention that I was like fired or demoted. And I just, again, wanted to be real and authentic with like the dynamic of how it is working in the industry with your family. Those real things do still happen. And the earlier Christmas party that happened a couple weeks ago, I had been sick and I wasn't able to make it. And I received a text, that was just like, it's just not going to work out. Like we need somebody in house and here. And while I do, disagree with part of it and saying, like I just said, like the booking aspect should 100% be able to be done remotely. The work that I do is very intent. It's very detailed. I have nothing but good reviews on, their experience with me and my customer service and my accommodations and my effort to complete everything. And that is 100% argumentatively a benefit to the business for me to be able to take that off of their hands and put that on my plate. But what I do understand as well is that you have to have somebody consistently in there that knows every single detail when the party is actually taking place. So if that is not communicated or studied upon before the event, then yeah, it can definitely get hairy. It can definitely get stressful. So I understand that I dropped the ball and not being able to go. While I did know that it would be very easily handled, which it was, I 100% saw both sides. But, just being honest and real, like, I was like, okay, well, maybe it's just meant to be. Like, it is what it is. It does take a lot of work to communicate with these people day in and day out, the crazy requests. It just, I feel like I have to constantly defend myself between the customers and what they might say, and just the lack of communication between us, the customers, myself, and the people in house. Chad, you know this very well, in and out. The down bartender will get a phone call of a private event, inquiry, and who they need to speak to, and the bartender then gives them an email to reach out to me. But sometimes, it might be, I've emailed her, I emailed her, and I haven't heard anything back. And it's just, I emailed her open ended, and then they're pissed off because I'm taking time out of their busy lunch rush because they're getting a phone call from a customer because I didn't answer an email, but they didn't mention that they sent the email, literally less than 30 minutes ago. And I check my email once a day. I check my email once a day, and I'll get to it. There's boundaries, or they didn't want to mention that they just sent it last night, or they just sent it 5 minutes ago, or they didn't want to mention that they sent it to the wrong email address and spelt it wrong. So it's just kind of those defensive mechanisms, that counter defense, I guess. So you have to be like, whoa, 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 this is actually what happened, or I did tell them this, and vice versa. A lot of times, then the client will email me and say, oh, well, the bartender told me X, Y, and Z. And then I'm like, did they? And I know better now than to get, irritated with my coworker and just give them the benefit of the doubt of, like, I know they're probably twisting your words around or just plain lying to my face, because people just fucking do that. But in the past, and being naive, I could definitely get mad at a bartender and be like, what the fuck? Why did you tell them something that they actually didn't? And the customer is just trying to twist it around. But that was very long-winded. All that to say is, as a family business does, I was instructed to forward all incoming inquiries to a different email address and a different person to handle it within the business. And so I proceeded to do so. And obviously, just gave my apologies and my understanding of the situation. And before we know it, I'm sending the inquiries that are rolling in, because the holiday season is ramping up and revving up, and I get the go ahead to book it. Just go ahead and book it. And because I enjoy the job, and because I know that it's needed, and I do appreciate the money that I get from doing it, and it is my way to still be involved in the family business and the restaurant industry without having to be there in-house full time, I just continued on. And yeah, it is what it is. I might think differently one day, and I definitely keep boundaries high and make sure that, like, I don't, get too deep in and stuff like that, because it can just take back over very quickly to where you're tied into it. And yeah, so I just thought that was funny. And if you are someone who has a family member in the business, anything similar of the sorts, then you probably have a high chance of, like, experiencing the same thing. And for lack of better words, and reading between the lines of what I went through with that, and similar experiences in the same that we've gone through before. But move on. It was upsetting, and in both ways, upsetting to him, upsetting to me, but brush it off, chip off the shoulder, whatever, and you move on. I don't even think I brushed my hair after the shower. Sorry, y'all. I mean, I definitely really was upset in the moment. Hell, I can even. See, I ain't got time to do shit like this when I'm on live, so I'm just going to fuck it up. I'm just going to keep on going. So that was my event booking personal drama catch up. And the holiday party dynamics just crack me up because they're always so different. I mean, like, some of them might just come in. Actually, I take that back. They're all the fucking same. Our holiday parties are what's different. We come in and we immediately start popping bottles. We immediately start bouncing from person to person, drinking, da 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 da. The holiday parties for my clients that are booked are totally different. It's so funny to me because they all come in and it's all very quiet. I do like a swing Christmas jazz, like little playlist on Spotify that's not like country Christmas and not classic Christmas, but just kind of like muted, a lot of instrumentals Christmas, and they're just always so fucking quiet, and they're like, kind of timid to order if it's an open bar, or ashamed to ask if there's like a tab, or they have to start their own tab or whatever. But every fucking time by the end of it, they're begging to get up behind my DJ booth. They're playing music. They're trying to do karaoke. They're taking shots. And it's just so funny, like, to be able to work those Christmas parties that the movies are about, like the stereotypical work Christmas parties, and just standing behind the bar, kind of analyzing, like, if anybody doesn't get along with each other or how the boss is to work with. And they're always a joy. But like last year, one of the companies, broke a mirror in our bathroom, and so obviously they replaced it and everything. But 9 times out of 10, our Christmas parties are repeat customers, and we've enjoyed it every single time, and I really love hosting them. But it's so funny, the timidness and the quietness uh, that just like begins, and then how it switches by the time that everybody's leaving. And those few like early people will kind of dip out beforehand, but that's at any event, family birthday party or whatever. But it's just so funny to see the dynamic change, and that's why I love a holiday party. Again, we've gone back and forth between, is it appropriate to really hone in on like those out of work bonding experiences, not corporate class bonding experiences, but actual like soirees and get-togethers and renting a lake house and da 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 da, and events and activities and stuff. Is it worth it? Does it cause more problems? Um, what weighs more, and what's more beneficial or more negative, impactful, whatever. And to me, again, it just nails in that I think it's worth it. I know that it's going to lead them up to a great year and connecting with their coworkers, and just remembering too that they're each a real person and each like an individual human that just wants to have a good time and enjoy themselves every now and then. So I love the holiday parties, and I can't wait to see what unfolds this year. So far, nothing crazy has happened, and I hope that nothing gets broken. We did have the party that I worked the other night was a party, like I said, a repeat from last year. And by the end of it, they were singing karaoke and like hanging out till we were trying to kick them out last year. And this year, you could tell that there was a whole other different staff and a different staff dynamic, and they were quiet the entire time, and I was just waiting on them to, like, unwind and get going, and, like, the boss was prepared for it. He was like, "No shots unless there's a code word given by me or it's approved by me," and I was like, "Good deal. We don't want it to get too out of hand, whatever," and, like, I just kept waiting for it, and it never happened. They never warmed up, they never clicked, and I don't know, by the end of it, it was just like, "Okay, well, it's time to go, guys," I don't know if he was waiting on somebody else to initiate the karaoke and the getting rowdiness of it all, but, like, that shit never happened. Good night, Chad. Thanks for hanging out and listening to me blab. But dude the dude booked a party last year, and by the end of it, they were singing karaoke. I had to leave. I was so tired. I was like, "I can't do this anymore." It was, like, a night that we weren't open later on that night, so they just really we didn't have anything else to do, we didn't have anywhere else to go, so they were just kinda hanging out until everyone was done with their money and done cleaning. They weren't bothering anybody. A lot of times, if you know, that kinda thing, they can just hang out till the end, and then we're like, "Alright, guys, let's wrap it up." So that's what they were doing. I left. An employee and another employee and end up staying and leaving and coming back. I don't really know, but hanging out with them forever. So I think it just got their hopes up that that was going to happen again this year. And my coworker Rachel and I mean, respectfully, like, the guys were having us pop a Miller Lite every 20 minutes. And the agreement was 7 p.m. Like, our private event brackets are 7 p.m. or like 5:30 to 8:30 for $500, and then 6:30 to midnight for $600 booking or $1,000 booking fee. Why'd I say 600? So it's like 500 or 1,000, 3-hour bracket. And then we're usually open after that. Or like I said, we're not open, and it's not a big deal if you like hang out until we're closed or whatever. So if it's still open past that, we just let the public up. Say it's a Wednesday night private event booking or a Thursday, Friday, Saturday night private event booking. We let the public up at 9 o'clock. You're welcome to stay. You're encouraged to stay and enjoy the entertainment and stuff, but other people in the public are allowed to come upstairs. Well, what was I going to say? Oh, so they actually just booked the 3-hour. And so since we weren't open upstairs, it was just going to be from 7 to 10. And that was fine with me. I was like, it's a Monday night. It's okay if you move to a different alternate time bracket. It's no big deal. And so the agreement was just like, we can hang out until he was like, last year, we did some karaoke. Like, is that okay? We just kind of hung out until y'all were done getting like everything wrapped up and closed. And I was like, oh yeah, totally. No worries. So like I said, they ate, I wrapped everything up, I boxed their food up, and they're just asking us to pop some Miller Lights every 20 minutes. Like, respectfully, the bar tab was nothing crazy. I mean, like, we wound up walking away that night splitting $200. And for a private event, like, that's just really not what you're hoping for. You're hoping for a little bit more. I mean, that's why we love private events, because I'm not taking that for granted or being like, ungrateful for that. $200 to work from 5 to, I think I left at 10, is not bad at all. But at the same time, when you're clearly and knowingly taking advantage of our set booking fee that other people have to abide by and pay for, it just comes to a point where it kind of gets disrespectful and just like taking advantage. And that's kind of how it was. Like, they were literally just sitting there. They weren't singing karaoke. They weren't up mingling with us or trying to take shots or hang out. Really, they were just sitting talking, a couple Miller Lights every time. And by the time that it was 10 and we were done, I walked up there and I was like, hey, is there anything I can get for y'all? Do y'all need another round or anything? And they're all like, no, we're good. And I was like, kind of at the main guy. And I was like, oh, okay, well, like, we're done over here, if y'all don't need anything else. And he was like, oh, is that it? And I was just like, I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be, but if y'all are done, we're done, then yeah, we can just wrap this up. And he was like, oh, okay. And so they stayed and just kept sitting there. And then I was like, Rachel, you're going to have to go over there and like talk to him about something. So let's make a little comment, whatever. So she's like, okay. So like 5-10 minutes later, she walks over there and she's like, do y'all need anything? Can I get y'all anything? And they were like, yeah, let's do another round. They got another round of Miller, and one guy got a shot of 1800. He was like, I just want one. So we're like, okay, well, maybe this can change. And she was like, if you want to go, like, get back home to Sloan and Mathen, like, you can go. So I dipped out, like I said, around probably a little after 10, maybe like 10 and a hair, and dipped out. And she wound up texting me. What did she say? She said, they came up and asked for another round, and I was like, no, it's time to go home, guys. But we made about 200 apiece. And I said, were they pissed when you said no? And she was like, I think he was a little surprised. There was an awkward split second silence. Then he said, well, okay, I guess we'll get out of your hair. And I was like, that's just so weird that they knew we weren't going to continue the night open to the public, and that we were literally only open for them. And they also knew that the agreement was that they would leave when we were done cleaning everything up. And so then that's when I said, I wonder if it was because the precedent that was kind of set last year with just a way later night. But it was also a different vibe, different employees, and you were already past the time frame. So it was just kind of like, it got to where I was like, all right, now you're just seeming like you're trying to take advantage of it, and you're really just not making it worth our while. So he could have wound up tipping us an extra $300 if we had not said anything and let them stay there till they were done. But I don't know. That's just kind of when you take the gamble on that. And yeah, we said, you got to fucking go. Your money's not talking loud enough. It was talking, but it ain't yelling. And we needed to yell around here. So I hope that the rest of the holiday season brings money aplenty for good gifts and recovery from all the bought gifts. Moving on. Now I want to do a little shout out and a little discussion about something that I came across on Facebook. It's funny because, we were just talking about the realities of alcoholism, and it's going to be brought up in probably almost every episode, but alcoholism and drinking culture in the restaurant industry, restaurant and bar, service industry, whatever you want to call it. And when I first started the podcast, I was like, I did a lot of research on what was out there, and there is no podcast kind of like talk show for servers to come on, bartenders, chefs, dishwashers, whatever, hosts to come up and talk about what we go through, our drama, our tea, our frustrations, what we're thankful for, what we battle with, funny shit, banter, humor, any of that. Not really anything like that. There are Facebook groups, there are meme groups, there are other like little person, just like chef groups and stuff like that in communities, but not really a platform like this. So that is where we differ. But there is something called the Burnt Chef Project. And as I come across these groups, I do want to share them, because at one point in time, I was like in the boat thinking that there was just nothing out there for people in the restaurant industry aside from diners, drive-ins and dives, Restaurant Impossible, and Gordon Ramsay, so, and Anthony Bourdain, and just the main stuff like that. I need to plug my laptop back in. Sorry. So it's funny because I came across this and we were just talking about it, but the Burnt Chef Project, I'm just repeating that for copyright reasons. This is all of their work, and I'm just going to read directly from their Facebook post. But it says, new research from our Alcohol Awareness Week campaign, created in partnership with the Bournemouth University, reveals the depth of alcohol-related challenges facing hospitality workers today. From stress-driven drinking to the cultural pressures that make saying no difficult, the data gathered during Alcohol Awareness Week shows just how deeply drinking is woven into hospitality workplaces and why change is urgently needed. We've compiled the full findings, insights, and recommendations into a detailed report to help leaders create safer, healthier working environments. So I'm just going to click through and read the Drinking at Work Causes, Consequences, and Preventions from the Bournemouth University and the Burnt Chef Project. Alcohol consumption in the workplace has long been recognized as a significant occupational health issue. Within the hospitality industry, this challenge is particularly pronounced. Characterized by intense customer interaction, long and irregular hours, and high pressure environments, hospitality is consistently associated with elevated rates of alcohol consumption compared to most other sectors. Again, like we talked about last time, you have a weird reality check and a return to earth when you get out of the restaurant industry and you go back to not being surrounded by it every day, or you get a different profession where you can't be surrounded by it every day, same boat kind of thing, that it is not normal. Like, it's not normal, and it's weird, and it's unacceptable. And that's exactly why it's the intense customer interactions, the stressful interactions, the long and irregular hours. It might not always be long hours, but it's irregular hours, it's inconsistent hours, and the high pressure environments to make things right, to make things on time, to be appeasing, to be accommodating, to be straightforward, but also prompt and have your boundaries. And, if you have certain stipulations with your menu and and be accurate and on point with all of that. It's hard to not do this out of stress and pain and anguish than just out of discussion like I'm doing right now. On to the next slide. Research across the UK, Europe, Australia, and the US reveals the same pattern. Drinking is deeply embedded in the hospitality culture. After shift drinks are often framed as a reward or bonding ritual. And while policies exist, informal norms frequently override them because majority of restaurants are privately owned, they're not corporate, and even if they are corporate, the managers want to relax too. The managers want to drink and have a numbing sensation and a detachment from whatever they just went through more than the employees themselves do. So, yeah, it makes perfect sense that it's not, the standard isn't held and it's not actively enforced